In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.
Okay, so welcome to the What's That Music About podcast. I'm your host, DJ Rambo Rich, and today's guest is a singer-songwriter called Isabella Giorgio. And with no further ado, I'm just going to get her to introduce herself, tell her a bit about herself, and then we'll start the episode. So, first of all, thanks for coming, Isabella, and if you just introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me, by the way. So my name is Isabella Giorgio, as you know, formerly known as Izzy, and I am an 18-year-old singer-songwriter / music producer and now radio show host from the West Midlands. Yes, that's a bit about me.
No, I did see that before I came on. I did say congrats to you there. So
Thank you.
It's interesting. It's interesting how, like, you know, even as I record this, I try and keep people's things up to date of like what they're doing, but like you can never keep it up because there's always something else that comes up on.
I know. Honestly, I can't keep up with myself, to be honest. It's so new and fresh, this thing, and I'm just so excited for it, and we can have a talk about it later.
Definitely. So I think what we're going to do now is go to the first round, which is mixtapes and memories. So in one sec, we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is mixtapes and memories, and in mixtapes and memories, we talk about past memories of music and how these key moments shaped your musical taste and influences. So to start that off, what was your first musical memory?
So I think the very first musical memory for me has to be like, we're casting it right back now. This is probably when I was around 5 years old, and for my birthday, I was bought this pink CD player. And my first CD that was bought was Adele and Lady Gaga.
Okay.
And I used to listen to Lady Gaga when I went to bed at 5 years old. That was like the first memory for me. So I think they really influenced me. A lot of people tell me they can hear Adele kind of vibes in my voice. And I
could get that.
Yeah, I think that it has shaped my voice, to be honest. But the first song I ever sang was Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier.
Oh, cool. Definitely, that's good. So I imagine that was like the first CDs you got.
Yes, it was. And then I had those little MP players, like the tiny ones.
I think so. Yeah. Like yeah. I know the ones. Yeah.
I had Adele and Lady Gaga on there. They were like my number ones, but then I had Ellie Goulding as well.
I mean, it's funny, but I have to remember, because of my age, like, I've seen all formats, basically. so I've seen cassette tapes, VHSs.
I've seen cassette tapes.
Cassette tapes, CDs, MP3s, Blu-rays, DVDs. I've seen it all, basically. And I always forget when I interview people that some people haven't had that experience.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like, I can remember going to HMV and there was cassette tapes as like singles. It's mad that.
So if you have a massive record collection though, I love vinyl and things like that.
Definitely, I think especially with the like Spotify like these days, it's good Spotify.
Yeah, no, Spotify's the best.
It is, it's great, but like I recently cancelled it so I could go back to the old school way of things of like,
okay,
you know, finding music through CDs and like, you know, oh, that cover looks good, let's see what that's about, and oh, I know that artist. I've not heard of him. That track. Let's, you know, just to be a bit, mix it up a bit. But like I say, I'm back on Spotify now, just to let Spotify for listening, you know. But so what was the first sort of gig or concert or like live musical performance you saw then?
I saw.
Yeah.
So I think actually the first concert I went to was Free Radio Live. And it's the one in Birmingham, and they always have like so many great acts on there. And the first time I went to a live concert, I think I was about 7, something like that.
Right.
And then recently, because I obviously went to a music school in Birmingham called BOA, and they gave me the opportunity to actually support Free Radio Live. So 7 years later, no, a bit more than that, 9 years later, I'm then performing at Free Radio Live. Like, that's crazy. And I did that for 3 years. Yeah.
I mean, I bet that feels like coming full circle, really. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
sort of like,
yeah. Just like have to get to the next stage, being like Becky Hill, and then we've done full circle.
Definitely. Like, so I guess it answers the question already. Really, that was that your first like sort of live performance, or
My live performance.
yeah, first. What was your first live performance?
I don't think it was that. So when I was younger, and again, I did all this stuff when I was a kid. I did a lot of musical theatre shows. So I was
Same
actually
here.
in. Did you?
Yeah. I used to do acting. You see, and it led to DJing. So yeah,
I'm the same.
Anyway,
Musical theatre led to drum and bass. Make it make sense.
yeah, it does. I've seen people at parties. I've seen one time I went to this party in central London, and there was a woman dancing, and I just went up to her and said, "Excuse me, have you done musical theatre?" And she was like, "Yes." "How do you know this?" I said, "Because I've done musical theatre."
Because you can just tell. Yeah.
You can tell a
Oh my
musical
God.
theatre person, definitely. I mean, but yeah. So you said you did a lot of musical theatre. So
That was probably
what were
the
you doing?
first. Oh my God, the first show that I did. I did Whistle. Is it Whistle Down the Wind? Andrew Lloyd
Yeah.
Webber did that one. I did. What's it called now? Madagascar the musical. That's crazy.
All right.
Yeah, and then I did Oliver as well. They were like when I was a kid, so I class them as my first performance, but they wasn't like properly
Professional.
singing.
Yeah.
Because I did. I'd say my first proper singing performance was when I did a competition, and
Right.
I won that competition. It was in Sandwell in the West Midlands, and I won that competition with my own original song when I was playing the piano.
That's good. No, that's good though. Like, I mean, imagine like rocking up with your own song. I mean, like that's good. It's gonna say a lot, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that.
Straight away, you might.
I was in year 6, so that must have been like when I was 10. Is it 10? 9? Like that's the first ever one.
You're talking to a guy that's dyslexic here. Massive, I'll just stick to music.
Yeah.
But no, like I say, isn't it? It's funny how like all these little things sort of like influence like your current thing. So like, how would you say that sort of influenced you like now?
What,
like
doing musical theatre?
Yeah.
See, the thing, I like to think that gave me a stage confidence, like a base, because I mean it's grown. Like I started doing actual gigs at the age of 12 around the West Midlands to start, and then obviously it's grown now. But I think it gave me the confidence to just get on a stage because I'd always been on a stage, so there was no like fear. It's like now people ask me like, do you get scared to go on stage? Obviously I do, but I just do it anyway because I can control it better.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, it's a bit like myself with DJing. Like, I'm never fussed about getting up there. I'm more fussed about a technical problem.
Yeah.
Like equipment failing, or like if it's new equipment, for example. That's what I'm more fussed about. It's not my performance. I know I can do it. As you would be the same, would imagine. It's more like the technical side of things. You just got to get through it first.
Yeah, definitely. It also depends on the venue as well. So when I started doing the theatres and the arenas with my bands and things like that, that was like, whoa, hold on a second, I need to like do some breathing exercises. That really did kind of test the nerves. But when you're with other people, I feel like it helps because you've got other people there who have done it before and they're like, oh, you're going to be fine. Like, and you are. You were going to do it. But it's like you say, I didn't have to worry about the equipment then because I was just singing. It's not my equipment.
I think we've covered everything we need to cover in that round. So I think what we're going to do now is move on to the next round, which is on repeat. So 1 second and we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is on repeat. And in on repeat, we discuss the present and what your current challenges and projects are and what you're currently developing. So to start that off, what are sort of your sort of daily challenges or daily successes?
So I think my daily challenges at the moment is trying to stay in this room and just create music. That's what I'm doing most of the time, other than now my new show, which I think is quite a big challenge, and I'll say about that in a second. But I am doing these songs all myself. I have worked with loads of amazing producers, don't get me wrong. But since getting my diploma in tech, I just want to do it all myself, like have my creation. I think the song that I'm releasing next week next week, that's crazy, is all mine.
Breathe. It's all good. It will be fine.
Yeah. It's like all my creation. I'm like, okay, so if anything goes wrong, it is me. There's like no doubt about that. But it's fine. Like, I love it. I have complete control, creative control. And then obviously...
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. Like you say, it is a big thing. Because I don't know about you, but with me, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So, it's great working with other people, but when you, like you say, you take control of sort of your own destiny, if you know what I mean, with sort of like you just doing it. So then, you can sort of... There might be little... I don't know about you, with me, sometimes it's little things like on my decks, for example, like having the dials at certain positions and stuff. But like I said, I'll let you carry on anyway, but that's all I wanted to say there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's like the pressure. I mean, this song that I've released, if it was up to me and I didn't like actually put myself in place and say I'm going to release it now, it would not be released because I am that much of a perfectionist. I even listen to it now and I'm like, I could have done that, But it comes to a point when you've just got to like, it's okay, it's good, it's good enough. But and then obviously I've got this show venture that I'm on and I'm just trying to take that as it goes. I've had a lot of people ask to be on the show, so I'm trying to sort everything out and just go with the flow.
It's funny you say that. That's the thing that always comes up in these conversations is, like, I feel like most of the people I've spoken to, I'm not going to say most, I'm going to say all the people I've spoken to have got the music thing down. But there's a thing that always comes up is the other side that takes you away from doing the thing that you enjoy the most. Is the promoting of it, it's the making of it, it's all these other skills you've got to have to actually succeed. The
promoting side, my God, that takes up so much time and people... I was actually going to speak about this on the show, is about social media and how when you're a creator or you're an artist, that takes up so much of your time being on social media and having to promote yourself because you need that fan base, you need that audience to actually promote it too.
Yeah. I mean, that's partly how this podcast came about, was because we're on Spotify. Like, I was seeing all these people, like they had like 5, 10, 17 listeners, but like they were super talented, but I was like, how are they going to get like heard? Like, how are they going to get seen? So I was like, you need something that they could come on, and this is how it came. And I wanted to help people, get, have a sort of a platform to come and like express what they're doing with their music, and then hopefully like they'll see other people that are on it, and maybe they'll work with them, and it all work together and sort of grow and develop from there, really.
I think it's a really good thing because you can never collaborate enough, in my opinion. No. You can never.
Definitely. And I think also sometimes you get stuck in your own circles of people.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is so true.
Like I'm probably stuck in I love the crowd of DJs I'm with, but I'm probably stuck in sort of the same crowd of DJs. I probably need to go like down south and meet a few of those, like London and like, like even local to me, like Manchester, for example, and Liverpool, go there a bit more. But like I say, I totally get what you're saying there. So I think we might have covered this already. So what do you find yourself repeatedly like doing? I feel like you're going to say here, it's the promoting stuff and the other stuff than the music, but I'll let you answer it anyway.
I would say trying to just get a viral TikTok video. That takes up 20 hours out of my day, and that is no joke.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it just takes up my time.
So what does success look like for you then, currently at the moment?
Well, I'm nearly close to my 10,000 followers online. I'd love to reach that. If we're speaking like, let's say, goals I can see for this year, I think I'd like to get one of my songs to like 100,000 streams. And I know that seems a lot, but I think it's achievable with promotion.
Yeah, definitely.
With promotion.
Yeah.
I'd like to just collaborate more. I've got quite a few things lined up for this year. I'm joining a new show, hopefully, which should be good, going into rehearsals.
Oh, cool.
In 2 weeks. So that, and I'm going to Spain as well with my solo show. So hopefully pick up some more venues and contacts, thank you, over there. So it's going good so far.
Yeah, no, good. I feel like sometimes though, I mean, you could be doing all this stuff, and then before you know it, a whole year goes by, doesn't it? And
I know.
You're like, oh my gosh.
I know. It's crazy.
For me though, I don't do anything really massive. January social media. I always make that sort of the month where I plan everything out going forwards, so that I've got a bit of a structure. I sort of make content for the things I'm doing. Like batch cook it, and then I make January the month of sort of like not disappearing, but just sort of like let's work out what we're gonna do. Yeah, because it's horrible weather. I don't want to go out in January. It's freezing, it's raining, it's snowing, whatever. I mean, I just thought there's no real there's no real point of doing a DJ gig in January because you've just had Christmas. Everyone's doing January, like dry January and fitness kick. So there's no point in me really sort of being out there unless it was something massive that's going to project me a bit more. Then there's no point. But I don't know. What's your thought?
I get that. On January, normally for me, it's exactly what you just said. January's gig-wise. But this year, it was actually okay. I mean, I didn't have as many as, let's say, I do this month, or like the rest of the year is just crammed. January was a bit dry, but it wasn't as dry as normal. But I think it's because I had quite a few parties. Like, it's not just a night out. It's like an actual event that people have planned, which is different. Right. But for me, with definitely. The social media side, like you said, you like to take that month out to recoup. I can't do that for some reason. No. If I try to disappear on social media, people like ask me, "Where have you gone?" And I'm like, I'm literally just
no. I can imagine,
doing something.
I think it comes down to the different things we do, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like, because I DJ, so generally for DJs, it's a quiet month. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine. But it's
but for you, I can imagine it could be quite steady. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the quietest month for me. I think for everyone, but it's like you said, we're in different kinds of fields, so it's a bit different.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if I was like in the future, I'm going to start doing production. When I do start doing production, now January could be the busiest month.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the year. Do you know what I mean? But it just depends where you're at, really, doesn't it? Like I say. But so I feel we're good there. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the next round, which is discography, where we talk about your music. So 1 second, and we'll be back with discography. Okay, so this is discography, and in discography we talk about the guest music and talk about the inspiration and the meaning behind the music. So to start that off, what are your 3 favourite tracks that you've released of your music?
Well, every song that I've put out I absolutely love. Like, I would not put a song out if I wasn't 100% in love with the song. I did some really good collaborations with some guys called Evious. They're amazing. The songs that we put out, crazy. There's a song called Higher. I love that one. Obviously, my lately song then, My Dance Forever. That's 3 already, but then obviously we've got the new one coming out. Lately is the one that I think people like the most if we look at the number side and the view side online. But Dance Forever was the one that was played on Love Island. So I think that one has a little special place in my heart, to be honest.
Do you know what? It's funny you say this. I always see it like it's nice how that's become like a big sort of like tick mark for people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Love Island. There's a DJ called Jess Bay, I think her name is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Jess Bay. I always worry I butcher people's names. Hope it's Jess Bay. Moving forward, the point I'm making. And she got one on Love Island, and I love how like this has become like a thing for musicians. Like, like
I mean, I
get
love
your
Love
Island.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, why I was so amazed at it is it was when Maya Jama was talking. I was like, Maya Jama was talking over my song.
So you're saying that you got your song on Love Island. So what track was that?
So that was Dance Forever. It was added to their official playlist.
I'm not surprised because on my notes here, I've put Dance Forever, line, good.
Because do you know what a way to break it down.
No, I don't want to be so harsh there. I'm not being harsh. But no, I always, when I'm trying to find my songs for DJing, I always put like good, bad, just because it's easy to, when you quickly look at it, I'm not trying to insult you.
Does it actually say bad?
No, it says good.
Oh,
Literally. So yeah, I always do that so that when I like write songs down, I'm like, oh, I heard that song, I didn't like that. Oh, that's good. But I did put good, and I did think at the time, if I was DJing, I would probably. And it's not. I'm not saying this just because you're on it. I'm actually saying it because it is good, and I would actually use it. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Love Island thought, you know what? While this situation's gone, let's put this song on. Because it's always a situation, isn't it? And they put like the appropriate song that matches the situation.
Yeah, I think it fits, doesn't it? Because it was the final, and they were like introducing one of the couples that was like in the last three, and it's all like happy, lovey, and that's what the song is, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us about like what other two tracks were you really proud that you've released?
I would say Lately is definitely up there. That's one of my favourites.
So what are your plans for the future then? Like with releases. So you've got the big track coming out soon.
Yeah, I've got loads of songs that I'm ready to release this year.
So let's just talk about the big track and just to remind me what it's called of again.
Yeah, so it's called All Again, and it's out on February the 12th this year.
So how did the process for that song sort of start?
So
because I always like asking questions that make people think back, and then they can sort of think, oh, hang on a minute, I've come quite a way since that was made. So how did that come about then?
So All Again, it wasn't a new track. Like I had this track actually done professionally, probably 2023. I had it done because I wrote this song in 2022. I wrote the song in 2022, and it wasn't a dance song. It was just with a stripped back piano, and then I turned it into like a dancey type, like house. And then I was like, there's something missing from this, because that's when I got it done professionally, and it was great, like it was. But then January, I said to myself, my New Year's resolution was going to be to just throw myself into my own music and create everything from scratch, and stop like, you know, buying beats or whatever. Like I've never released anything with a bought beat, but I just would hide behind somebody else's production and something. Right. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make the track. I'm going to re-record the whole vocal, mix and master it all, and I did it all myself, and it ended up becoming a drum and bass track. It just fell into that category, and I'm not complaining because I love drum and bass. So
yeah, definitely, it
just happened.
It reminds me, the way you talk about this, it reminds me of another guest, and she has such a unique. Joyce Embers, her music's a bit more darker, but she released a song with a drum and bass theme, like version of it, and it's interesting how like you're both singers and you've both gone to the like sort of drum and bass sort of element of the music, like changing what your song was to a drum and bass track, which is interesting.
But it's like I feel like when I was in 2021 and I'd wrote loads of songs, I was like stuck thinking, this just doesn't feel like me for some reason. Like I have wrote all these songs to just a plain piano track that I played myself. And I'm like, but it's not, like I wouldn't get on a concert of just me and sing this. Like I can't enjoy it properly. So then I remember when I first started working with my first producer, which was in 2022, and I went down to London, and he just said to me, what do you want to do? What genre do you want to do? And without a question, like I hadn't thought about this, I just went dance. And I was like, what? Because I never did dance after, like before that, never wrote a dance song. I was like, this is new, but I just wanted to try it, and I've literally stuck with it ever since, house and drum and bass.
Well, I would say from, you know, the success you've had so far, it's clearly working, isn't it?
Yeah, I try to. Working. Thank you. I really like what I'm doing at the moment is trying to make my own kind of stamp on it. So I mean, I love drum and bass and house, but I'm trying to mix that because I have quite a soulful voice. So I feel like the two actually work really well together.
Yeah, definitely. I was speaking to like a producer sort of rapper this week, and I was saying to him how he's taking like classical instruments into his rap music.
Yeah.
So there'll be like there'll be like strings, but it would a beat and it works.
Yeah. No, that sounds cool.
It's interesting when you take like two elements that you don't think would work, and then they work, and then it creates this other sound, and you're like, oh my god, this is
like
cool.
soul on liquid drum and bass. Who would have thought?
Yeah, definitely. So so we're going to move on to the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 second, and we'll be back with Dream Big. Okay, so this is Dream Big, and in Dream Big we discuss what does success look like in the future, and what are the goals and aspirations for the future. So to start that off, who would be your dream artist or artists to collaborate with? It's a hard one, this. It changes daily for me.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Now, for me, it's different because I find it hard. Now I've got full creative control. When I think of like in the future, if you would have asked me yesterday, like you just said, I would have said a singer, I would have said an artist. But today, I genuinely think someone like Calvin Harris or Nathan Dorr, something like that. Just like a massive track. Obviously, if I wanted to say singer, I would say Becky Hill or like Ella Henderson, because they're my favourites at the moment.
I mean, I was going to say for you, someone like Jack Jones would be perfect.
Yeah, or like Sigala. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I'm friends with Sigala. They did DM me once. That's my proud moment.
So is there anyone that isn't in that sort of genre that you'd want to... I mean, I would collaborate with anyone that of note, but like, you've got to have your favourites.
Me too. I mean, I agree.
So is there anyone outside of sort of dance that you'd want to collaborate? Like maybe more of a singer like Adele or someone like...
Jennifer Hudson. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. 100% with Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, I just think... because I love to sing soul, I absolutely love, and she is like the queen of soul sound, like 100%. So collaborating on that, and also I was only shown this the other day, she did a cover of Purple Rain, and that is the song that I'm kind of like known for in the West Midlands for singing. So imagine that, the collaboration on Purple Rain.
I mean, it's funny, you said Purple Rain, which was originally by Prince. He always gets mentioned Prince on this. Michael Jackson.
Really?
Prince, all the time. Everyone always mentions someone in each series. I reckon will mention Prince or Michael Jackson.
Well, I do like Michael Jackson. I listen to Michael Jackson every single day.
Definitely, I'm with that. Go back to Prince.
Mm-hmm.
I was like Raspberry Beret and I Want to Be Your Lover. That's such a good song. Now, Beverly Knight. I love Beverly
Knight.
She did a dance version of I Want to Be Your Lover, and I think it was with Mark Knight. So you want to give that a look?
Yeah. I mean, Beverly Knight, because obviously I work for Black Country Radio now. I recently just posted a video of her wishing everyone Happy Black Country Day. Yeah, she follows me online.
So you were saying about collaborations. So talking of collaborations, is there any sort of like big festivals or concerts that you've like forever thought, one day would perform there?
Yeah, do you know, I think as well, like a separate kind of one is first of all, I really want to go, but I can never go because I'm always on holiday on the weekend. There's a festival called Creamfields. I would love to sing there. Absolutely. Dance Music Central. But I've seen videos, obviously, and everyone goes. I'm like, I want to.
Definitely. So we're saying about festivals or concerts. So let's go back to that. So your first festival to play at is Glastonbury. So
yeah.
What specifically about Glastonbury that makes you want to perform there?
It's just the best. I mean, we watch it every year. I remember I was actually in Mallorca this year when Glastonbury was on, but we was watching it on the TV because we just watch it all the time. Like, it would just be like, that's when you've done that, you've done well. I think that's what everyone can say.
Yeah, definitely. So is there any other sort of dreams or aspirations like that you think of, like since you've been a child or something like that think, oh god, one day that would be amazing?
Yeah, I definitely want to do a tour with my own music, just like oh my god, as well, like I never thought about this ever until I watched it. Do you know how Dua Lipa, she did a show this year where she performed, I can't remember where it was now. It was in the UK, but she performed with a live orchestra.
Was it the Royal Albert Hall?
Yeah. Yeah. That is a massive dream of mine. And the thing is why I like it is all of her songs are dancey, and yet she did them all with an orchestra. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, that is
definitely
an actual goal for me, seriously.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's, something like that would be amazing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And who would you want as your support act?
I don't know, because you don't know what's going to happen, do you? You don't know who's going to come up. I mean, I would like to think that I know loads of people already who I would want to give the opportunity to. 1,000,000%.
I was going to say something like that myself. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like if you're in that position, like you've got to give back to the people that have helped you.
100%.
And it's nice that you've said that, because I was thinking that myself. I was like, no, you'd have to I like it when people sort of like help people. Like someone's asked me recently to, they want to know about DJing and how to get started. And I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
Because it could be tricky. You've got to have this software, and what software do I use for my decks, and what decks do I get, and how do I start like mixing one song into another and all this. And it could be daunting, and there's so much information out there these days, that contradicts each piece of information, so of course you've got to give back. But like I say, I don't do it for any sort of ego or anything. I do it because
just genuinely want to help.
Yeah, and people helped me when I was starting, and I feel like if you help someone else, then they're going to help someone else when they get to a point, and it's just going to make the world a better place, because the world's not the nicest of places at the moment. So you just change it one person at a time.
Exactly, because when I started doing my TikTok lives, which is how I've built my following, I get quite a few DMs of people asking me, what equipment do you use? How do you create your songs? How do you record like backing vocals on your track? And I just send them a big voice note explaining absolutely everything, because that's one thing I don't understand. Why, if you hide that information, what is that helping you? What is that benefiting you? You think that that's going to take away from you? No way. Like, we got to help each other.
Definitely. I see it all the time, like with my DJ group I go to, that like it's really not. One of the main reasons I go is because everybody helps each other out, each other out. And now as the groups develop that I go to, like everyone's in like not their own groups. We're all one group, but like people are sort of like doing things, collaborating with each other on different projects. Other people are doing things, or like I'm doing my own thing, and it's all these things are happening because of the one thing happened.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of growing into something bigger, like I say. So it's nice, isn't it, when everyone gets along and helps each other out.
I just don't think there's any room for like, it's not a competition. There's room for absolutely everybody in this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like I always say, there's like, so over DJs, like there's enough room for everybody. Now, there's 365 days in the year. If I'm correct here, I got it wrong yesterday. I forget I said 358.
365, yeah.
Yeah. So there's 365 evenings that you could DJ at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the evenings. Think about the sort of like lunchtime brunches that they do for DJs. Think about the evenings. And then there's the parties, private parties. So that's like doubled already. So it's like 1,000 opportunities already in a year.
But then think about location as well. Like,
across
and that's just the globe.
Exactly. So when you start putting it into perspective like that, then you think, well, hang on a minute, there's nothing to worry about.
No. Yeah. It is all good. There's no... And then, like, what about... You think about that. How about when people do joint shows? There's like 5 people on in one night. Everyone gets to show themselves. Like, there's so much room. That's just ridiculous if someone said there's no room. No way.
No, but like I said, I always feel like people try and make, like, excuses, don't they? As to, like, why things aren't going right. And I think you've just got to keep going. You know, you can only control yourself. You can't control whatever, you know, so you've just got to keep pushing forward, like I say. But no, definitely. I feel like we've sort of come to the end here. I feel like we've answered everything that we need to answer. Is there anything you want to say or mention about before we sort of wrap it up?
I just thank you for having me, and make sure you follow me on social media.
So it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Isabella. And like I say, I hope all your plans for the future go perfectly, especially the track that's coming out soon. Is it next week?
Yep, 28th of Feb, all again.
Yep, no worries. Perfect. Like I say, I wish you all the best for the future. And any updates or any things you're doing, just let us know, and I'll put a post on the Instagram channel and update what you're up to. But like I said, pleasure being it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and all the best for the future, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I've really loved it. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Anytime. Yeah, so you have a nice day, and speak to you soon.
And you, see you later. Bye.
See you. Bye.
In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.